kind of nervous. They really hyped us up. But I'm really honored to be here today to be one of the keynote speakers. When Yami first invited me to be here, I was pretty surprised because I always thought to be a keynote speaker, you need to be running a unicorn company or having been appeared on lots of different magazines. And obviously, I am none of that. So thank you, Yami, for the invitation. For the last couple of years, as I first dabble into this entrepreneurship phase of my life, I've realized that I've been looking at the definition of success quite differently than I did before. And that's actually okay to be thinking about success differently. But first, let me introduce myself. So I'm Cynthia. I am the founder of Clean. My company has actually evolved a lot since we first started in 2020. So when we first started, we were a coffee/laundry shop in Sheungwan. If any of you are in the neighborhood, you would know us as that pink cafe with the green washing machines. But my company's actually transformed now into a B2B food technology startup looking to support other businesses to grow efficiently and sustainably. And you can actually see our first prototype by the door just when you come in. But if I had asked my 18-year-old self whether I'd one day be standing here today and to have a technology prototype to show, the answer was a clear no. I had the traditional mindset. I always thought, study hard, and that's my mom down there who told me to study hard, go to a good university, get into a multinational company, get a good job, play the politics, climb up that ladder, and that's it. That's the definition of success. But like for a lot of people, I think COVID came in 2020 and turned our lives upside down. For me, when COVID first started, I was actually physically in Dubai. I was heading up a strategy team for a multinational company in insurance. And when the COVID kind of became a global pandemic, I had asked my boss whether I can work remotely from Hong Kong for Dubai so that I can be closer with my family. But at that point, I was living a pretty comfortable life. As you know, Dubai also had no tax, so life was pretty good. But then COVID came, and I didn't realize that moving back to Hong Kong and working remotely actually would change my life. Firstly, I got engaged, have a fiance, but secondly, I founded a company. When you're remote working and there's time difference, I found myself having a lot of free time, especially in the mornings. And at that time, I somehow had a light bulb moment that I wanted to do more in this free time. Instead of binging on Korean dramas or Instagram scrolling, I wanted to do something a little bit closer to the ground because my job was very much high up in the clouds. Its strategy is high level. It's a bit of waffle. So I wanted to do something closer to the customer, closer to the neighborhood. Clean really started out as a passion project at that time. I had limited funds, but I was really eager to see how I can do something that would just make a little bit of impact in the neighborhood. I was always into the topic of sustainability, and I was quite frustrated with the topic of greenwashing by bigger companies at that time. So I wanted to see how I can use my limited funds, make small changes, and create some sort of impact somewhere. The concept of a coffee shop really came from my brother. We've actually been talking about starting something for the longest time, but since both of us had full-time jobs, we never really got around to it. But in 2020, I guess COVID kind of gave me that inner courage to action on it, which is weird. But I always knew when I first started that I wanted to do something quite different. I didn't want just another coffee shop. And at that time, when we launched, we made some key changes to the coffee model. So the first one was making oat milk the default milk option. And at that time, oat milk was not mainstream at all, so it was quite challenging. But then we actually charged extra for dairy milk, which also caused some contention with our customers. The second thing we did was wanting to make bringing your own cup the norm. So instead of giving away discounts for bringing your own cup, we actually charged customers more for using a takeaway disposable cup, which again caused some commotion with our customers. The third thing we did was actually committing to using Rainforest Alliance certified beans and also direct trade beans so that every cup that we were brewing we knew was high quality but also sustainably sourced. And lastly, as you can hear, I created a lot of supply constraints for myself. We still wanted to keep prices really low. We wanted to keep it lower than Starbucks because to me, it was really important that good things shouldn't cost more. And so as you can hear, I made a lot of commitment to this shop, but because clean was a passion project, I decided I wanted to stick with it, which was really tough, but thanks to an amazing team, we managed to perfect the roast, build a great clientele, regular customers, and over the last couple of years, I think I can safely say that we had one of the best oat milk lattes in Hong Kong. But fast forward to 2023, which is what we want to know now. We actually got presented with an opportunity to open a second shop, so I guess I did something right in my first shop. But at that time, I didn't really know what being an entrepreneur really meant. And I wasn't really quite ready to quit my full-time job. Because bear in mind, this whole time, I was still running my full-time gig. But then something kind of got to me, and I decided that, you know what, this second venture could be my leap of faith. So let me fully dedicate everything into this new venture. So I quit my job, my comfortable, nice job, and I fully dedicated to the second project. But at that time, again, I like to put myself in sticky situations. I didn't want to create or just copy and paste what we had in Sheungwan. I wanted to create something completely new. And the concept that came to my mind and something that I wanted to create was a self-serve specialty coffee shop. Now, the whole concept came from, high-quality things often come with a higher price tag or it takes a longer time to create. Convenience often comes with something that is of lower quality but fast. But Hong Kong people are unique, right? Like, we want things that are quick, good quality, but also cheap. We're very demanding. And so I thought, is there a way I can make all of these things happen together? And also stemming from some of the pain points we had been experiencing in our first shop in Sheungwan, such as operational inefficiencies, long wait times for customers, low levels of innovation, I thought, is it time for me to try and use technology and solve some of these problems that we were facing? And at that time, I, for some reason, thought that there was already a solution in the market. I mean, we have beer taps, we have water taps. Surely there's something that I can put and utilize to put coffee in there and to serve it, and then voila, that's my shop done. But unfortunately, that was not the case. I couldn't find anything in the market, and I was getting into trouble because I only had a few months left before I had to launch the shop. And so at that time, I guess when you're in desperate mode, you start to get really creative. I found a couple of pieces of hardware. I was very fortunate to find a software designer who was able to help me create something really basic, and I launched the shop. At that moment in time, it was a very clunky design, but it was still a working prototype nonetheless. And looking back, it was kind of courageous of me to ever have gone down that route because I don't think I've ever experienced that much stress in my life. But after the launch of the shop, I wouldn't say it was a success. If anything, if we looked at it in the traditional markers of success, it was a complete failure. I didn't really generate much customer traffic, and it actually sparked a lot of interesting debates around integrating technology into traditional approaches. I got a lot of criticism for replacing people with machines. A lot of baristas in the community did not like me. And it's true, like on the front end, it seemed like I had been, automating a lot of things, but actually in the back end, there was something that people couldn't see. During the development of the taps, I had coincidentally met with someone working for a charity, supporting people with special educational needs. And we started discussing whether or not this was something that we can utilize to support people with autism, ADHD, or people who just have communication kind of disabilities. And it was perfect in theory because the customer-facing part was replaced by machines, yes, but the back end still required a lot of operational work, maintenance, and actually some thinking behind these value-adding tasks. And so at that point, we trialed with 2 young recruits who were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And I was really amazed by how greatly they performed. And that was another kind of motivational turning point for me, because that was when I realized I wanted to expand this model so that more people can give an opportunity to these people who don't usually easily find jobs, because they are also value-adding, productive working individuals in our community. And so with that in mind, and because I was running out of money, I had limited funds, I decided I needed to close my shop, my second shop. It was really tough, and it was very emotional. And at that time, I thought I had failed because I was starting to doubt myself. But in hindsight, it was the right decision, because now I can pivot myself and fully dedicate my resources to creating a B2B company that was focusing more on food technology. But hindsight was a bitch, and at that time, it was really, really difficult to get through. And obviously, that transition wasn't easy too. So it came with its own set of challenges, countless calls to factories, rejections, delays, setbacks, and even till yesterday, even though I have a working prototype, my monitor decided to fail on me. And that pushes you to think of new solutions and new ways to react to these problems. But sometimes it can be really frustrating, especially not coming from an engineering background, not coming from a technology background. I'm constantly relying on other people to bring my vision to life. And when you've poured your life savings into something and you're at the mercy of someone else, it can feel really lonely. But having said so, if I set out to make financial gain from this whole thing, then yes, I probably wouldn't have chosen this path. But I guess my mindset has shifted now, and my purpose is a little bit different. So if I reflect on the last 2 years as being an entrepreneur, I realized one thing. I had a complete mindset shift from being quite reactive, I would say, in my corporate role where you're firefighting, to being a lot more proactive and trying to think of solutions for problems before they even begin. And I'm still blown away by how much I've grown and how much I've developed in the last couple of years. But today, I do want to present to you our tap card, which is by the door if you guys have a moment to have a look later. Despite a non-working monitor, it does embody a full year's worth of hard work, dedication, and the amazing collective effort of the amazing people I met along the way. And I really hope that this can help other businesses grow in a more efficient and sustainable manner too. But as I sum up my story, and hopefully that's nowhere near the end, it's still going, I do want to highlight 3 things. One is there's always more to the story. And I think just like the Olympians that we celebrated and cherished, we might not have known them until they've won a medal, but it's actually the building blocks that got them to that medal that really is something that we can learn from. Secondly is embrace the unplanned. I never thought I would start a company, and I never thought that I would dabble in technology. But here I am today, being very courageous. Not sure where this is going to go, but I'm quite excited to see how we transform. And lastly, to redefine your own definition of success. I think if my 18-year-old self were to judge me today, she would probably think I failed. I mean, who goes from a fancy job title and a fancy, company to a fancy salary to right now not knowing when I will pay myself a decent salary? It's kind of scary, right? But I think this whole journey has made me realize something. And I want to share with you that a couple of weeks ago, I actually had to close my first shop in Sheungwan due to landlord issues that were unforeseen. And it was actually very heartbreaking, and it was very emotional. But then it took me a moment of reflection to realize when customers, new and old, started to message me, started to DM me and say that miss us, that's when I realized, yes, I didn't walk away with a massive paycheck, but I touched some hearts. And like you, when you nodded when you knew clean, it touched some hearts, knowing that I've made some sort of impact somewhere in my small community. So hope this story was fruitful, and I do hope that this encourages you to also celebrate the smaller wins, the quiet victories, to not be upset when there are hurdles, because I think I can do a speech without a script if you count how many hurdles I've got and how much I've faced. But it's all really character building, and it's been a really good journey so far. So thank you. So on that note, I do want to introduce Phi, our second keynote speaker, who also shared a very similar story. So, Phi.
Hello, hello. Uh, Thank you so much. Actually, it's a great honor for me to stand up today to share my journey in the last 4 years. So, when I listen to Cynthia's story, I actually resonate a lot. When I start talking with Yamlet about the keynote speech, actually I feel a bit surprised because our brand that we will introduce a little bit later is not tech company, it's not about Web3, it's not about sustainability. But when we start to listen to all the section in the afternoon, I start to feel why Yamlet want us to stand here and share my journey in the last 4 years. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Phi, co-founder and CEO of a socks brand called Pear Fu. So we mainly selling mismatching socks, of which I also wear mismatching socks today. We have a vision to promote Hong Kong design and Hong Kong stories. Yeah. So our story actually began with a little bit surprise and unexpected. It's a few years ago, before COVID, when my wife, Jenny, who is also sitting here, and I was very brave to make a decision to take a career break. And we quit our job at the same time. She worked in Disney. I actually worked in Casetify. So all the big crop. And after 15 years of employment, we decided to take a break. We didn't know what to do. We have no plan at all. We just simply opened the map and want to find a very low-key country to stay for a while and see how it goes. So we found Poland. Yeah. Okay, so we fly to Poland, stay for a few months, met a lot of friends, visit a lot of weekend markets, and that's actually a very common characteristic that we find the Poland people have. They have a very strong emotional attachment to their home cities. We talked to a lot of different founders in different sectors. That can be logistics, that can be tech, that can be consumer products. Normally, they will start introduce themselves in this sequence. Let's say I'm Adrian. Okay, my name is Adrian. Okay, I come from Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital city of Poland. Founder of Many Mornings. Let's say it's a brand, Poland. So they put their home city even at a higher ranking than their brand, and also countries. This is actually impressed Jenny and I the most, and which is deeply rooted in our hearts. So we felt Polish people got a very strong positive vibes, very energetic, and we decided to come back to Hong Kong. Yeah. So when we are back to Hong Kong, that's the peak time of COVID. So everyone is actually wearing masks, very depressed. We all feel being trapped, cannot fly to anywhere. And Jenny and I just want to create something that can also create a positive energy to our communities. We both actually came from consumer brands background. So we actually scanned through our entire body what to do. Okay, hats, sunglasses, necklace, jewelry, shirt, trouser, or what. We found socks is actually quite an interesting product. So it's a very low key. I think many of the gentlemen here today actually wear socks. But I think most of you actually wear a plain color of socks, isn't it? Yeah? I saw Rashid, yeah. Yeah. So we found socks very low key. You don't need to show to others how colorful it is. But you actually need to wear it every day when you go to work. So Jenny and I actually brainstormed a little bit. What if we make it colorful funky, or even mismatching. That's how Pepperful gets started. So we opened our first store 2021 in Taikoo City Plaza Athlete as a pop-up space. We still remember very strongly on the first Thankful Week from Athlete, a lot of people lining up in order to buy a pair of socks from us until 11:30 during the midnight. Yeah. And their age group, surprisingly, is a 35 plus. When we talk to ladies who have ordered 30 times for us in the last 3 years, why did she keep buying our socks? And then the ladies actually replied to us that because you guys' socks design, it need my inner child. Yeah. We were so amazed, impressed, and actually got a very touch as well that a simple design can actually innate the inner child of ladies. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether you guys believe in the law of attractions. And then since then, the brand start to get attractions. And we start to work with a lot of different Hong Kong organizations that share similar vision with us. I think you guys will know what the organization in Hong Kong that want to promote smile, want to promote positive vibes. The number one organization will be Hong Kong Disneyland. Yeah. So we talk to each other, and then we find the natural chemistry. And we design a collections with Hong Kong Disney to talk about how to teach visitors to play from days and night. And then the collection is actually called A Day in Disneyland. And then the socks I wear today was actually putting the main gate, the Mickey Mouse train station, yeah, on the socks as the first step of your visit. Yeah. So not only Hong Kong Disneyland, we work with Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra to celebrate their 50th anniversary. The Mills on their 5th year celebrations, the Hong Kong Airport Authority that want to promote Hong Kong design beyond Hong Kong. Yeah. And after 3 years, right now, we got 3 stores in downtown, more than 20 different point of sales in different areas. And very recently, we opened a pop-up store in International Airport. That we actually achieved our very first milestone that is a very big milestone for us, that we can promote Hong Kong's design and Hong Kong story beyond our own territories. Yeah. And our next milestone will be going to Taiwan next month. We'll be opening 9 point of sales together in 3 key department stores, Takashimaya, Athlete, and also Tatsuya bookstore. We are very glad that Pepperful start to create a positive impact to our communities. And up to now, we have been serving over 30,000 happy customers that want to innate their inner child. Yeah. And next year, on the 23rd of March, we'll be partnering with Down Syndrome Organization Hong Kong to promote a diversified and embracing society by inviting the Down syndrome kids to work with our designer to draw a collections and put on the socks. Yeah. So looking back for these 4 years, as Cynthia has mentioned, there's so many roller coasters almost every day in a startup environment. And especially under this tough retail sentiment, there's so many hurdles we need to overcome every day. But our team, Jenny, and another core team member, Amy, is actually sitting here as well. We share similar principles. I think number 1, we celebrate every little success. Even tiny little bit success, clap our hands, have a bottle of wine, or buy some cheese together to celebrate. You cannot imagine how powerful it can be to create a bonding in your team by just celebrating little success. Secondly, keep asking yourself whether you have the all-in mentality. My definition of all in is not referring to you are losing your work-life balance or you are actually invest all your personal financial to the business. No, definitely not. So my definition of all in is whenever you face any hurdles or roller coaster, are you ready to step out from your comfort zone to take the challenge and then to propose any alternative to overcome this? If things turn good, of course, celebrate. If you have tried your utmost, but things are not turning to what you expected, take a deep breath. Relax. Just keep telling yourself, the best is yet to come. Because everything will have a destination. Yeah. Last but not least, after joining the startup journey for almost 4 years, I actually have a little tip for every founders. Yeah, that success is at your own definitions. We are not a unicorn company at all. We are not tech startup. You are not talking about growth. But we are very proud that Pepe Food start making a positive impact to our society. And then work with different organizations to cheer everyone up, to create a positive vibes to our local communities. And that's how I define our own success. And we are very pleased that we start to spread the positivities around. Before I finish my speech today, I actually prepare a little gift for every one of you. Yeah. So we'll be creating a brand new concept called POME, P-O-M-E. So it's a very simple definition. So you just simply take H away from home and then put a Poland, the P, inside. So it's a POME, P-O-M-E. So we are bringing more than 10 brands from Eastern Europe, mainly in Poland, that share the same DNA with Pepe Food. Either they want to promote positive energy or very energetic vibes, put together to create a brand new lifestyle concept. And then we want to share the joy with every one of you by presenting a gift bag to you. That would be a pair of socks and a few very refreshing skincare. Our first store, let me promote a little bit. Our first store will be opening in Taikoo City Plaza on the 1st of December. Yeah, and then we will be holding a mini opening event, yeah, by then. Hope you guys enjoy the little gift. And because when this actually come close to Christmas, so may I wish every one of you an early Christmas, best health, stay happy, and then all the best. Thank you.